little thing probably gonna pop up probably. All right. Today, people, I want to speak about separation. There's a scripture that I want to go to, but I can't remember where it is. But I am going to go to, let's see here. I'm going to find out. First, let's go to Leviticus. Leviticus 19. Leviticus chapter 19. And I want to establish something here. I'm live right now, so Leviticus 19. And because we need to understand, lies have been taught that God don't separate and God not is. They say God is not racist. So let's look at Leviticus 19 and verse 1. See, verse 1 is starting off with God, who God is speaking to. We know that this Bible is not for every nation, everybody. He only gave these laws to a certain chosen people. He didn't give these laws to everybody. It's just like if you have a bank account, they got robbers, murderers, and thieves out there, right? And I need, hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. I need everybody to get this. All right. We know that they got murderers, robbers, and thieves out there, right? Would you trust thieves and murderers? You got these people you can trust. You have these people that you can't trust. Would you have a special chosen people that you would trust? Would you have a special person that you would trust versus trusting? You can't trust everybody in the world, right? So compare that to God does have a chosen people. Everybody is not his chosen people because he chose them, right? So that's just like if you can trust somebody. If you trust somebody, you can't trust everybody. You can only trust the ones that faithfully bring your funds, your money back, and all of that. You can't take and give your money to somebody that's bugged out on drugs, right? You can't trust a thief to go to the store for you, right? If a thief steals, if a person that use drugs, and they don't want to give them up, do you think you can trust them with your funds? No. Why? Because do you think you would trust the person that faithfully bring your money back, your change back, or whatever? Of course you will. You would trust that one. You would chose that one. Why? Because that person will be a special person to you in the eyes of the Most High. Because why? You can trust them to bring your funds back. Okay, let's look at Leviticus 1 in verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak also unto the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, Ye shall be holy, for I am the Lord your God. He said, I am the Lord your God. He didn't say that tells you he's not the God of everybody. See, this is what he said, I am the Lord your God. Okay. And there's another scripture, I'm gonna look it up. It says, I am the Lord your God and none else. Let's go to establish. I still want to establish something here. I think that's the book of Joel. Oh, okay. The book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all the families of the earth. God is saying, You only have I known. And therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. He not gonna punish the Chinese man because they already know who they is. He gonna only punish us. We're being punished over here in this Babylon, America right now. Not everybody, not the Africans, none of them. Only his chosen people is going to be punished. Because he said in verse 2, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. You see what I'm saying? And there is none else. And then he said in Leviticus, Moses said in Leviticus, he said, I am the Lord your God. Let's look at the part where he says, see, a lot of people, I don't want to read a whole drawn out verse. I want to take and get right to the point. See, God is only dealing with his own people. Let's do it like this. Hold on. Excuse me, just give me a minute. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to read the verse. Leviticus, he said, I separated you from other people. Okay, let's find that and look that up. Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 24. Leviticus 20 and 26. Okay, yeah, here we go. All right, let me get good. I got it. I knew I was right by it, but I just couldn't put my finger on the script. But now I got it. Look what it says in Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 26. Ye shall be holy unto me, for I am the Lord, and I am the Lord, and I am holy, and have served you from other people. That means separated you. Served you means he separated you from, he served you from other people, that ye should be mine. You see what I'm saying? And then if you go back over here in Leviticus chapter 19, he's only talking to Israel. He said, ye should not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord. Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore. It talks about the things how you should live before him. So if people take time and read this book and study history, they will understand that God is not talking about the whole world, but they don't want to take the time to examine that. So let's go back to Genesis now, where it talks about Peleg in his days was the earth divided. Let's start right here, Genesis chapter 10 and verse 25. And unto Eber was born 2 sons. The name of the one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided. And his brother's name was Joktan. You see what I'm saying? And so let's look right here in Genesis chapter 10 and verse 5. By these were the islands of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families, in their nations. And the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Pot, and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Sabba, and Hava, and Saptika, and Rema, and Saptika. And the sons of Rema, Sheba, and Dedan. Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Erechad, and Elkanah, and the land of Shinar. So what this is talking about is Babylon. It's talking about how they wanted to overthrow the truth of God. You see what I'm saying? That's what exactly what it was talking about. Now let's go to Genesis chapter 11 and verse 1. I mean, Genesis chapter 11 and verse 8. So the Lord scattered them abroad from hence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Now, let's go back to Genesis chapter 10 and verse 25. And unto Eber was born two sons. The name of the one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided. Do you know that God actually divided the earth? A lot of our people don't know that. He separated his chosen people from he separated us from all the other nations. He did this. It's simple. It's not hard. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 7. Deuteronomy 7. Deuteronomy 7. Let's see who God was talking to. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel. So God was talking to Israel. So he gave the laws and let them know how special they were. Let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people. He said above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Now, if that's not racist, what is that? People say God is not racist, but God is racist. If they take time and read the whole Bible, not half of the Bible, but the whole Bible, they will see that God is racist. So let's look at Matthew's chapter 25. I think it's chapter 25. Matthew's 25 and verse 32. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them. I thought God didn't separate people. I thought he didn't separate. God separated Israel from all these other nations. Look what it says here. Matthew 25:32. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from the other, as a sheep divideth his shepherd from the goats. Now, remember this word divided here. And now, was in the days of Peleg, was the earth divided? Was the earth divided in the days of Peleg? The earth was divided. And then God turned around and divided the nations, because I read that in Genesis chapter 10. Remember, he said that the Gentiles was divided. He divided, and he did that. Now, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them. People say God don't separate. But right here in your Bible, in red, it's saying that God separates. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from the other, as a sheep divides his sheep from the goats. You know who the goats are? The Edomites, the white man, the Chinese man. The Bible says God gonna put every nation back where they belong. See, we all scattered. Israel is scattered all over the four corners of the earth right now. But God is going to bring his people together. His remnant, the real Jews. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7. Deuteronomy 32:7. Look what it says here. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. People will say is that, oh, forget about slavery. You remember, you notice how people say that, right? Remember that God says, remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, he divided to the nations their inheritance. When he separated, see that word separate go again. And I just read it in the New Testament in Matthew 25:32, where he said he going to separate them, the one from the other. When the Most High divided to the nation their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bonds of the people according to the numbers of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. God's only portion of his people is only the Israel. He's only dealing with the chosen people of this book. He's only dealing with Israel. I thought God didn't separate. Right here, he said, when the Most High divided to the nation their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam. This is something that a lot of our preachers are not doing. And they're going to be held more accountable for misleading their people and not telling their people the truth. God do separate. God also hates too. Romans chapter 9:13 says that. Let's go to it, because a lot of people don't believe it. And they still ain't going to accept it after you show it to them. But that's all right. I'm going to go ahead on. I'm going to do what the Most High told me to do. I'm going to tell them. Romans chapter 9:13. Look what it says. It was said. But let's look at verse 13. As it is written. That means it was written in the Old Testament. Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. No. God, is there unrighteousness with God because he hate Esau? Jacob have I loved and Esau have I hated. God hates Esau. I didn't say this here. I literally didn't say this. The Bible, I read this out. This is literally what I'm reading is out the Bible. So people say God don't separate. There are so many different places in the book that says that he do. God separated nations in the Bible. God is not dealing with no other nation. Let's see who God was speaking to in Numbers chapter 1. See, your pastor is going to get whooped with a many stripes for not telling people this. And see, I don't have all the knowledge right now that I should of breaking all the rest of this stuff down. A lot of these ministers, they're going to be held very much accountable, and they're going to burn in the lake of fire longer. They're going to be beaten with a many stripes for knowing this stuff and not telling their people and telling their people smooth stuff. They're going to really be punished by the Most High for that. And the Most High is angry with these pastors for not telling it, taking the time to get in this Bible and to teach them people what the real meaning of what salvation is. They gonna really be destroyed. They really gonna get a whooping by God when he get when the Most High get back. And that's gonna be that whooping is gonna be. It's gonna be with an eternal destruction. Eternal destruction means they're gonna be blotted completely out of existence. That's an eternal destruction that they're gonna receive. Let's look right here in Numbers chapter 1, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses. See, he was only speaking to the Israelites, the chosen people, in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tabernacle of the congregation on the first day of the second month, in the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, take ye some of the congregation of the children of Israel after their families by after the families by the house of their fathers. See that? This goes all the way back to the lineage of your fathers. That's what your bloodline is. This is what God told Moses to do. He said, deal with the numbers, with the Israelites, according to the numbers of their fathers, by the house of their fathers. It doesn't matter what your mother is. It matters what your father is. What your mother is doesn't matter. What your father is, it does matter what your father is. You see what I'm saying? And let's look at verse 18. And they assembled all of the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees after the families by the house of their fathers. What is a pedigree? Let me explain to y'all what a pedigree is. A pedigree is simply a bloodline where you descend from. The pedigree is your father's lineage. That's what that means. This is something that most pastors is not taking the time to actually break down to our people, and they're going to be beaten with not a few stripes, but a many stripes. And our people that rebel, they're going to be beaten with a many stripes too, because they hearing it, but they not really hearkening. And meaning hearkening means they not listening to the words of this Bible here. And this is one of the main reasons why we are in slavery right now over here in America, and we serving the so-called white man. Is because we did not listen to God, and we made God mad. And God said, I said, since they ain't gonna listen to me, I'm gonna put their enemies over. This is the reason why we're going through all these atrocities. Why you think mothers, sons, and daughters is going through so much in prison? Our minds is being messed up by because our enemies is doing it. All of this is the results of because we did not follow the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. He put us under these conditions because we broke his commandments in these ways. There are 613 commandments in the law. We was taught 10, but it's more than 10. You're supposed to have a beard on your face. All of that. That's why you see me with a beard, with hair around my face. It's because it goes. These are one of the laws according to the laws that God gave to the Israelites. You see what I'm saying? See, a lot of people think that genetics and your bloodline, they think it doesn't matter. They'll say, what does it have to do with my soul? It has a lot to do with your soul, because God only chose 12 tribes. He didn't chose, he's not dealing with this book. This Bible is not a universal book for everybody. It's only dealing with the people of the Israelites, the people that he chose. Let me show y'all something in Matthew chapter 15 and 24. Maybe that might put y'all to kind of thinking a little bit, because our people is so bugged out in Matthew 15 and 24. See, they think it's not important. They fighting against it the whole time. Matthew's 15, 24. I'm going to read this here and I'm going to see what they're going to say. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. God said he's not sent to nobody else. He says he's only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The sheep is the Israelites. The lost sheep is the sheep of Israel. Now, let's go to Matthew's chapter 25 and 32 and read that again. Because see, remember, I talked about separating. Matthew 25 and 32. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them. See that? One from the other, as a sheep divides his shepherd from the goats. See, everybody is not his people. Everybody is not God's people. He only has a chosen elect. The chosen elect are not the Germans, the Italians, and all those. Only the chosen people are the Negro black descent that came from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If you are not a descendant, a descendant of the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, this Bible is only given to the indigenous and Native American, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Now, we're scattered all over in every country. You see what I'm saying? But I'm just trying to take time to read these things to you and show you these things in the book. Now, I want to get something here, and I want to clear up something in Matthew's chapter 5 and verse 48. I want to clear up something. I want to take time and clear up something about enemies, loving your enemies, because a lot of us is taught that we supposed to love our enemies. Let's look at Matthew's chapter 5 and verse 48. And we're going to look at some stuff here. Matthew's chapter 5. No, I'm sorry. Matthew's chapter 5, verse 45. Let's look at 43. Let's look at Matthew chapter 5 and 43. Ye have heard that it had been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thy enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. Now, when it says love your enemy, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to shine on the evil and on the good. Okay, he said love your enemy. Let's find out who the enemy is that God say love. Y'all want to do that? Let's find out who the enemy is that God is saying love. Let's look at an example of this in Exodus chapter 2. Let's go there. See, this is something that a lot of our people don't take time to do. And a lot of pastors really gonna get a hardcore punishment for what they're doing. And everybody who follow these pastors that's not really teaching them properly, they gonna receive a greater punishment for what they're gonna be held more. They're gonna be beaten with more stripes than anybody for not telling them this here. Let's look at Exodus chapter 2 and verse 11. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he went out unto his brethren. Now it's going to say who his brethren was. And he looked on their burdens, and he spotted an Egyptian smiting in Hebrew one of his brethren. See, Moses saw an Egyptian smiting in Hebrew one of his brethren. One of his brother. Who is Moses' brother? And he looking this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. You know who the Egyptians were, people? The Egyptians are the African people that enslaved us, people. The Egyptians are the people, the African culture. The Egyptian means the African culture who enslaved us. These people is the one that enslaved the Israelites. Moses got offended because he saw an Egyptian messing with a Hebrew. What did Moses do to that African man? Moses killed that African. A lot of people don't know that. Moses killed that African man that did this. God did not chose the African people. He did not chose the Egyptians. The Egyptians are their nationality, according to the Bible, is Egyptian. That's the biblical name for the African people. Africa was named after a white man. Now let's go to Exodus chapter 7. No, Exodus chapter 9. 11. I'm sorry. Exodus chapter 11 and verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel should not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know that the Lord does put a difference between the Egyptian and Israel. Now, I thought God didn't separate. See, this is racist right here. See, God came and put a division between the nations. He did this. But against any of the children of Israel should not a dog. Do y'all know God called them the Chinese people dogs? They're dogs. God called those people dogs. He called the white man their dogs. They're not special to him like us, the Negro, the so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native American people. Only the chosen people are. The Native Indians are the chosen sheep. When the Bible talks about the sheep, he's talking about Israel. Israel is the sheep. The Hebrews are the sheep. not the other nation, because he said he put a difference between the Egyptian and Israel. This is what I'm not. Look, people, I'm not. Are y'all really listening to what I'm saying? I'm not really reading this, making this up. I'm literally reading this out the Bible. Look, read it for yourself, people. That's all you got to do. It's easy. I'm not making this up. These are not my words. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord put a difference between the Egyptian and Israel. I didn't put a difference between them. God did it. I didn't put a difference between these nations. God did that. But they'll sit up and listen to Elder Pope Chop all day lie to them. They'll sit up all day and listen to Elder Methodist lie to them. They'll sit up all day and listen to white supremacists lie to them on the TV and in the churches and even in the congregations lying. They'll listen to them tell them lies every day, all through the day. Just feed them lies. And they'll sit right there and they'll eat it up. They love the lies of the other nation. The white man sit there and lie to them every day, all through the day. And they follow every lie he say. Everything he say, they follow it. They love them lies. But they ain't gonna get nowhere in this book and do no research. Because you know why? It's too much like right. No, they don't want that. They want the lies of America. Our people want the lies of their oppressors. Think about this now. How can you sit up and want the lies of your own oppressor? And a lot of people think that makes sense. They sit up all day and listen to the lies of their oppressors. Just tell them lies all day long, every day, all through the day, 24/7. Just lie to them. But I'm not saying this here. I'm literally reading out the Bible, people. Exodus 11:7. That's all you got to do is read. Just read Exodus 11:7. If you don't accept what I'm saying, read Exodus 11:7. But against any of the children of Israel should not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know that how that the Lord does put a difference. I ain't write that. I'm not literally making this up. It's literally coming out the book itself. And the way you understand the Bible is you go to precept upon precept. I literally think that people, I literally believe that people really shut their ears to it. Like it said, he said they shut their ears and their eyes to his laws, his statutes, his commandments. They literally close their ears off because they don't want to hear it. Because it's eating them up on the inside of their heart. And they don't want to have nothing to do with their God. That's really what they're saying. I don't want to have nothing to do with my God. No matter what I take them to and read in here, the first thing they're going to say, oh, Clarence is very religious. I'm a cult. How's I'm a cult and I'm reading it to you straight out the word? All you got to do is pick Google up. We got Google, Mike. Look it up for yourself. A lot of my people don't even know where Methodists come from. That's a shame. Oh, boy. Our people is so stubborn, man. Hold on, let me do something right quick, people. Our people, man, is bugged out. Jake is bugged out, boy. How did the Methodist Church come about? It's a movement that started with Martin Luther. Not from God at all. Let's go to Exodus 32 and verse 13. Let me read that. I'm going to come back and I'm going to read the history of that after I'm done with this. That's all people got to do. Exodus 31 And to hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, wait a minute. Oh, okay, hold on. I was recording. Yeah, I was recording. Exodus 31 and verse 12. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak also unto the children of Israel. See, these laws only given to Israel. He didn't say speak unto the Methodists. He didn't say speak to Seventh-day Adventists, did he? And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbath ye shall keep. He said, Speak unto the children of Israel. He didn't say speak to Seventh-day Adventists. He didn't say speak to Baptists. He didn't say speak to Methodists. He said speak to his chosen people. That's it. All right. Let me look at the history of this here and show y'all something here. History, Methodism, that's Methodist, has its roots in the 18th century. That's when Methodist was in the 18th century. That's when the church, the great, that's how the movement of the Methodists started. Anglicanism, its a founder was a Church of England, minister of John Wesley, 1703 to 1791, who sought to challenge the religious assumptions of the day. John Wesley later used the term Methodist himself to mean the methodological pursuits of biblical holiness. All that kind of stuff. That's what they used. John Wesley was a so-called white man. That's where Methodist came from. From 1703 to 1791. And it was a great movement that he started the Methodist Church in the 18th century. That's what this is saying right here. This is part history here. Come on, man. Our people, man, what's wrong with our people, bro? How did the Methodist Church start? Let's look at this right here. The Methodist revival began with a group of men, including John Wesley. See, that's what I just said. In 1703 to 1791, his younger brother Charles of 1707, 1788, as a movement within the Church of England in the 18th century. This is when the Methodist Church started by the so-called white man. Every religion on this planet was started by the so-called white man. Now, I'm literally reading this here out of history. I'm not making this stuff up. Let me go in. Let me see what this helps you. Let's find out who John Wesley was. What nationality was he? Let me find out. What nationality was he? What nationality was John Wesley? All right. John Wesley was an English theologian and evangelist who was a leader of a revival movement within the Church of England, known as Methodists after Wesley's death. The Socialists, and okay, let's look and British. He was a so-called British. John Wesley was a British. That's exactly what he was. He was a so-called white man. So do you know that when you fight Christianity, do you know you're upholding, you're worshiping white supremacy? That's what you're doing. That's why I be saying, when you wake up on Sunday morning, you see people listening to all that stuff, jumping and shouting and stuff, that ain't nothing but white supremacy. That's all it is. The Methodist Church was a movement that John Wesley did in the 18th century. So what I'm trying to say to people is, whatever it is that you follow, know the history behind it and why it was started and what was the meaning of it. Know the history of it. Know the history of why of what it is. See, a lot of us, we jump and we shout and we don't even ask questions about these things. It's a shame how we is that bugged out. And I'm trying to show our people, and here I am. I came from a dumb. Can I say that about myself? I came from a background of poor education, and I'm here. I am doing my best is to open my people's eyes up, and they not even listening to what they God is trying to tell them. What does the word Methodist mean? It's gonna tell me too. A a member of a Christian Protestant denomination originated in the 18th century evangelist movement of Charles and John Wesley and George Whitefield. You know who George Whitefield is? George Whitefield is a so-called white man. John Wesley is a white man. So do you know when you worship when you go to church on a Sunday in a Methodist church, you know who you worshiping? You're worshiping two white men. That's who you worshiping. That's your God. When you jumping and shouting and stuff, call yourself in the spirit, you're worshiping the spirit of the so-called white people. Our people is messed up really bad. Methodist. This is a shame how our people is that, but I didn't know our people was this bugged out. I really did. Well, I really didn't though. I'm like, okay, I can understand that our people, but they'll sit up and listen to the lies of a minister, tell them lies. That's what I just hate about our people is so destroyed. That's why the Bible said he'll put a yoke of iron upon our neck until he have destroyed us. We are destroyed. We are a destroyed nation. What do free Methodists believe? We all know what they believe. Let's look at it. I never saw that one. In doctrine, free Methodism beliefs are the standard beliefs of Wesley, Aramean, or whatever that is. Protestantism was the distinctive empires on the teachings of the entire sanctification as held by John Wesley, to whom the Free Methodist Church traces its origins, and that means the origin means its roots. The Free Methodist Church affirmed the ordination of women in 1911. Methodist means a belief that you can't prove. It means a movement that was started in the 18th century. John Wesley started a movement of the Methodist Church in the 18th century. That's what he did. And I will pick it. Let me read that again. The Methodist revival began with a group of men, including John Wesley, in 1703. It started in 1703. That was way before my grandparents was born, I believe. In 1703 and 1791, his younger brother, Charles, of 1707 and 1788, as a movement which the Church of England in the 18th century, unsuccessful in their work, the brothers returned to England conscious of their lack of genuine Christian faith. So the Methodist Church started in the 18th century, and it was a movement that started in 1707, in 1788, and 1703. That's right. 1703 to 1791 was a group of men came together in 1703 and 1791, and they started this with his younger brother. Charles, I think that's what it was. And they came together and they formed a Methodist connection. That's what they did. This was the so-called white man. They came together and they celebrated and they put together this here. And this is what you worshiping. And a lot of our people ain't bucking to it. They just don't care. It's either you don't care, you think it don't matter when it does matter. Because this is stuff, you can't find Methodists nowhere in the Bible. You can't even find Seventh-day Adventists nowhere in the Bible. And I used to be a Seventh-day Adventist. But you know what people gonna do? I feel it. I kind of notice it in my spirit. You know what? They gonna say that I'm jumping from one wind of doctrine to another. That's what they gonna accuse me of. They do. That's what they believe about me. I mean, that's what they think in their mind. But guess what? You can't find Seventh-day Adventists nowhere in the Bible. You can't find Methodists nowhere in the Bible. You can't find Presbyterian nowhere in the Bible. You can't find African American nowhere in the Bible. You can't find white people, nowhere, white people in the Bible. You can't find none of that in the Bible. You can't find nowhere in the Bible where I wrote this and said Clarence Ray said all this. You can't find nowhere in the Bible where it says, I was here, I was born before you. I read the Bible before you. No, because our people is comfortable with being in darkness. They don't want to be part of the light. They want to be in, they want to continue to be a coon. They want to continue to be a submissive slave, a godless slave. They want to be a worldly slave to the white man and not a spiritual slave for their own God. There's a difference. I had to clarify that. They would rather sit here and be a coon and a slave and stay in a docile mind. They would rather spend their life being ignorant. And they think that we don't even make perfect sense. How can you hear somebody, like, at least you ought to have a mind and say, you know what, maybe I might need to, what that word mean, at least ask what the word mean, instead of just sitting there just being stubborn and rebellious and don't want to hear. At least ask what the word mean. You see what I'm saying? Our people is so destroyed over here in America. You can't even say, what does that word mean? They're gonna look at you stupid. Why? Because they are so brainwashed by the white man. Let me turn this off. See, y'all hear that? See that type of stuff? That ain't nothing but Christianity. And we think that makes perfect sense. No research, no nothing. Not even the meaning of a word. It don't matter. What's the meaning of that word? We get offended over that. Why? Because we are that destroyed as a nation of people. We don't want to hear nothing. And you know what? That's the reason why we're in the conditions that we are now. And we're going through the stuff see, what our people don't understand. We can hear up and God can come here and get us out of captivity, but we holding each other back, and he delaying not delaying his coming, but we would have been out of the condition if we would have just hearkened to his will and followed his commandments and did what he said. Our people is so rebellious. He's trying to open up and give them a chance, but this is what's holding us back. Our people, that's why I say 2/3 of our people, they not gonna make it. Because our people is so destroyed with Christianity. They still got Christianity in their head. A friend of mine was talking, I was talking to a friend of mine today. I was. And we was talking to a lady. And it was like she was trying to make an excuse to be a slave to her to her slave master. You see what I'm saying? By saying, well, you got to know how to carry yourself with them. You know what I'm saying? All that old crazy stuff. And we said, and you know what the first thing came to my mind, and you know what I said? I said, well, look, your foreparents before you and they foreparents before them said the same thing. And here it is, 2019, and we still going through the same thing. And we got to do this here. But what we need to understand is this: they ain't scared of us. I mean, we sitting up here, um, it's not about being scared of. See, when white folks, when they know that you actually will stand up to them and they know you really mean business, they ain't gonna mess with you like that. But when we come with this slave religion and saying, well, baby, you got to realize you got to know how to carry yourself. How many? Let me ask you something. We did that for many centuries. Our foreparents said this. Our parents from 30 generations been saying that. You see what I'm saying? And look where have this gotten us. Where have this gotten us now? I'm pretty sure Eric Garner's and Mike Brown parents said the same thing, and not and even before Eric Garner, they great grandparents said, "No, baby, you just give it to God and let God." But you got to know how to carry yourself. You can get anything you want out of white people if you know how to carry yourself with them and all that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure our foreparents and our foreparents before them, and then our great grandparents and our great 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 grandparents before their great great grandparents said the same thing. And guess where have they gotten us? Nowhere. Here it is, 2019. Eric Garner got shot. It ain't did nothing but got some more our people shot down in the streets by the so-called white man being humble. Oh, please, hands up, don't shoot. You, the reason why I put the Bible down, I mean, I put this history stuff down, I've got away from it because you know why? Because I feel in my heart and in my mind that a lot of people ain't ready for this. No matter what you show them, no matter how you prove it to them, they're going to still debate you. That's sick because our people is destroyed. Our nation of people is destroyed by the European, and they knew what they was doing when they came over here and started mixed breeding with the Indians and stuff because they wanted to divide us like that. No, baby, you hold your peace and let the Lord fight your battle. And guess what it's gotten us? Nowhere. It's still did it stop him from shooting Trayvon Martin? White folks, they know that we talk like that. They know it. They know we talk like that. And do you know what they're doing when we sit up in here listening to all this Christianity stuff? Do you know what they're doing? White folks ain't doing nothing but sitting back and laughing hard at us. They hurting themselves, literally sitting back laughing at us, listening, looking at this and making a clown out of us with this Christianity that they done created. No, baby, you let the Lord handle. Hold your peace and let the Lord. That's the same thing our ancestors done. And where have it gotten us? Nowhere. Where have it gotten you? Did it say, hey, we're gonna give them their benefits back? No, we still over here struggling over here in this so-called Babylon America right now. Right now, we still struggling. Now I'm asking you a question. Where have this gotten us? Put it in the comment section. It ain't got us nowhere. Ask yourself that question. Where have this gotten us? Sitting up here talking about, oh, baby, you got to be humble. You got to love them anyway. Where have this gotten us? Nowhere. We ain't got nowhere. You know it too. The people that's listening and watching in this video right now know I'm telling the truth. Ask yourself that question. Where have that gotten us? Nowhere. We still suffering the oppression from the same ones, ancestors, and who the ones who repeating what their ancestors done. We're still suffering from this oppression right now in 2019. Talking about you got the Holy Ghost, you got the Holy Ghost, and all that kind of stuff. They don't even know what that means. I bet if you ask, and I'm not even being critical, they just ignorant. They deceive. To a degree they are, like we all are. But if somebody come and ask me, what does Methodist mean? I can tell them what Methodist mean. It means a movement starting a so-called religion. Methodist means a united, something that's not based upon what the Most High said. The Methodist Church started in 1703 to 1791. 1791. And the Methodist Church began in the 18th century. That's when that movement started with the Methodist Church. So when people sitting up to my, oh, I'm a Methodist, and I hold my hands up to you worshiping a so-called God of the Europeans. You're worshiping your oppressor. That's who you're worshiping. That's the bottom line. Now I know y'all don't want to hear this though. Soon as they come on here and hear the first words of this video, they gonna click it off. They don't want to have nothing to do with it. I know you don't want to hear it. I can sense it through the vibe of the video when people turn it on and watch it. They ain't gonna even get this far in this video. They're gonna turn it off because it's not that entertaining for them. I'm not telling them lies like they pastors getting paid to lie to them. Guess what I never did? In 2013, when I started making videos, guess what I didn't do? I didn't get on here asking people for their money, saying y'all need to send me a donation. No, I don't do that. Lying to you, trying to take your money, telling you, oh, God is going to bless you and all that kind of stuff. Amen. God is telling me is to tell y'all just give me $20 a piece and send me $1,000. That's stupid. I'm not doing that. I don't love money like that. I don't care about material things. I care about schooling you in and giving you knowledge upon your history and your heritage, where you come from. While your pastor gonna sit up and lie to you and tell you what you want to hear to keep you in their churches and keep you coming to their churches so they can continue to tell you lies. I'm not here to tell you lies. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to put you to thinking and get you out the box so that you can learn to think for yourself instead of letting your pastor, so-called pastor, think for you. Because a pastor is leading you straight to destruction. That's what he's doing because he's not telling you the truth. He wants you to continue to love the white man, make you believe you got to love everybody and all that kind of stuff. That came from your oppressor. Talking about love everybody. God ain't never say love everybody. He said love the enemy of your own people. There's a difference. Look it up if you don't know what it means. Now I'm out.